Hi, how you going? Steve from I'm Enough Coaching, and today I've come to talk to you about core values and why are values so important. So already we've discussed the problem with limiting beliefs. We've discussed what happens if you don't have values. And remember, when we discussed values initially, we talked about values being a feeling that we want to feel on a consistent basis. That is what a value is. So how does this kind of work? Well, core values are what we base our decisions around. If we don't know what our core values are, then we're going to struggle to be able to make good decisions. And I think I've used this example before, but I'm just going to reuse it just to re-emphasize. So if we were having coffee and I said, let's get up and run away without paying for our bill, hopefully you will be able to make a decision like that really quickly to say, no, Steve, that's wrong. I'm not going to do that, because it's against your core values. So, can you see how the values that we hold and the values that we live by are what we make our decisions on? Because when we make decisions, we always make a decision around something that's going to impact us. How's that going to impact us? How are we going to be able to understand that? What's that going to do for us? What's that going to provide for us? So when we're looking at making decisions, this is what we're doing. We are looking at making a decision in the way that it's going to be best for us. What's in it for me? Because this is how we always make a decision. Even if we're doing something for somebody else, we're still getting something from it, such as the feeling of doing the right thing, or, the feeling of being able to help somebody else gives us the feeling of satisfaction inside. So we're always doing something for our better selves, for our own being, or the greater good. So can you see how if we've got a value around doing something that's going to be right for the greater good, then we're going to be able to do that. If we've got no values around the greater good, we're going to struggle as to why we should give our time, and volunteer, for example, to do something for the greater good. So this is why it's really core for us. This is why it's really important for us to understand our core values. Now, very often when I'm working with my clients, one of the first things that I ask them is, do you know what your core values are? And very often I get a, and they might be able to come up with one or two or none at all. Now, this is because it's something that we don't generally talk about. But when we know what our core values are and what we stand for and why we are the human being that we are, that's when we can really start to live fulfilling and congruent lives and be the person that we want to be consistently. And this is what values are. They're feelings that we want to have on a consistent basis. So how do we find out what our core values are? So what I do with my clients is I help them construct some vocabulary, some language around how they want to feel on a consistent basis. So for example, if we were to say integral, I want to feel integrity. Or another one, I want to feel satisfied. There's a good one. Satisfied. What does satisfied mean? What does fulfilled mean? These sort of words people struggle with. So what I get them to do is to word map, to write down the word. So write down the word successful. What is successful for you? Or happy. Happy's a great one. Happy covers almost everything. But what does it actually mean? So break the word down and then draw a line off it and write down what you think happiness is with a couple of words. And then break down the meaning of those words, and then break down the meaning of those words. And then before you know it, you've probably got a page full of about 30 or 40 different words. Then that's the point when you've actually got some language around what you believe the word fulfilling or the word happy or the word integral, whatever it is that you feel is that feeling. You've got some language around it. Because once we're able to language something, then we're able to have it. And if we can language it, then we can have it. So can you see how by just brain dumping onto a piece of paper, we can start to identify some of the core words, some of the core values around how we want to feel on a consistent basis. So for me, respect. I want to be respected by other human beings. I will also respect other people for the human being that they are. What does respect mean to me? Well, respect means that I'm mindful, that I'm present, that I'm caring, that I'm compassionate, that I'm empathetic, sometimes sympathetic, that I'm there for them. I will always do what's required of me. Those are the sort of things that are respectful, that I'm present for other people. I'm aware that they're where they are. I have given them the time of day. I will hold a door open for them. I will offer to carry them their bags if they're struggling. Or I may even be able to open the boot of their car if they're trying to put their rubbish in or something like that. Sorry, they're shopping in or something like that. So can you see what I'm saying here? If I've got some language around what respect is, then is that how I want to feel on a consistent basis? Yes, it is. So therefore, is that one of my core values? Yes, it is. Okay, so respect is one of my core values. Excellence is another one of my core values. What is excellence? Well, for me, excellence is striving to do the very best I can at everything that I try to do. I will do the very best that I can. I will do it whenever I can. I will put 100% into it. And to give you an example of how far I take my values, excellence goes even down to having a good night's sleep. When I go to sleep at night, I will lay in bed and I will go, good night, you're going to have an excellent night's sleep. And I go, yes, I am, thank you. I don't say this out loud, otherwise my partner Shirley would think I'm an absolute lunatic. But I say it in here. Okay? So when I put the language around the feeling that I want to feel on a consistent basis, I come up with the word excellence. And this then becomes one of my core values. And I've got 4 core values. I wouldn't recommend having any more than 6 and no less than 3. So 4's a good number, 5's cool. Okay, if you start to have too many core values, then it's really difficult to live congruently by them. So what you're looking for is you're looking for big level pictures, big level words, things like respect, integrity, excellence, compassion, empathy. There's all sorts of words out there. Google them. Google is a great way to be able to go and find this language and then write them down. What do they mean to you? Break down the language around them. Like I said, do the word map. And once you've been able to do that, then you're going to be able to start to work out if this is a value of yours and which word would actually apply to it. Is happiness a value? Can you feel happiness all the time? I don't think so. So, are you going to be able to live with that? And we'll get into the rules and how we can make sure that we're always moving towards value in the next newsletter. I'm not going to get into rules now. I really want to. I'm busting to tell you, but it's going to be too much to take on board at the moment. So the first thing I need you to do over the next week is just to mind map the words that you want to use. And I want you to ask yourself these questions. Can I live congruently by these words? Can I feel these on a regular basis, continually? And if you can say yes to both of those, there's a very high chance that these could become one of your core values. And when you've worked them out, put them into a list of priorities. Work out what's most important to you and then work your way down. And then choose 4 or 5, maybe 3 if that's all you can come up with. And then start to introduce them into your life. And we're going to talk about the rules, and we're going to talk about, the way that you can live congruently with your new values. But the first thing we need to do is to be able to discover what they are. Because like I said right at the very beginning, if you can't language it, you can't have it. It's as simple as that. So the first thing we need to be able to do is to get some language around the words, around the values that you want to feel on a consistent basis. Because these values are going to be able to help you make decisions and going to be able to help you to make good decisions for you. Because ultimately the whole idea of life coaching and all that is for you to be able to live congruently and happily with you. Because once you've got a good relationship with yourself, then you can start to go good relationships with other people around you. Whether those be your partners, whether they be your kids, whether they be your colleagues, whether they be your friends. The first thing we need to be able to do is to understand us and know what we stand for. Because that's the only way that we can have good and healthy relationships with other people. So values are extremely important, and this is why this week I'm talking to you about discovering what your core values are and how to go about doing it. Now, if you need any help with this, as ever, just hit me up, send me a message down below. This is what I do. I've got a whole program around core values and beliefs. All I'm doing is I'm giving you the bare minimum for you to be able to get going. If you want to research this more and go and learn more about it, there's heaps of information out there. You can do this on your own, or you can get me to help you, or you can just, go through this process, this slow process, and still get the same outcome. So, if you really want to go deep on your core values and you really want to understand them and you want to work one-to-one with me, hit me up down below. This is what I do. I'm here to help you. But I'm also here for those people who may not be able to access my services for whatever reason. So this way will still work. It's going to be a bit more clunky. It's going to be a bit slower. But it's just going to give you the tools to be able to start to do this. So this week, go and find out how you want to feel on a consistent basis. Find some words, work out the language around them, work out the meanings, write them down. Pick 4 or 5 or possibly 3. I have problems doing 3. And work out what they're going to be. Next week, we're going to be talking about the rules that we have around values and how they can affect us. We're also going to talk about how we can have values that will move us toward. And what I'll do is I'll help you build the language around that, and I'll give you a couple of examples that have worked for me and how it's actually impacted and changed my life right now, right at this very moment in time. I changed a rule around a value that I had around going to the gym, and it was amazing. So this is the sort of power that it can do. Even though I'm well squared away on my values, I was still able to tweak that and change that to another level. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there for this week, but I hope you found this useful. Please hit me up down below. Send your comments, send what you think about this. And, if this is resonating for you, great. If it's not, if you want me to focus on something else, once I finish this system around values and beliefs, let me know and I can focus on that. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you have the life that you want, because that's what I do. All right, guys, I will speak to you soon. Take care. Toodaloo.